Okay, so today we're going to start with the topic, next topic from CVS, cardiovascular system, that is heart failure. Okay. So what is heart failure? Heart failure occurs when the output of heart is insufficient for the needs of the tissues. The heart failure occurs due to two main groups. There are two main groups due to which heart failure occurs. The first is diseases primarily affecting the myocardium. So the diseases which affects the myocardium and the diseases of other cardiac or circulatory components leading secondary to the muscle failure or heart failure. Now the first one is diseases primarily affecting the myocardium. In this, the first one is ischemic heart diseases, that is atheroma and thrombosis in the coronary artery and myocardial damage, which gives rise to fibrosis or infarction. Mute yourself. So the diseases primarily affecting myocardium, they are the ischemic heart diseases due to atheroma or thrombosis in coronary artery, which causes myocardial damage, fibrosis or infarction. The next is inflammation and toxic degeneration of myocardium. And third one is infiltration of myocardium and cardiomyopathies. So first is of ischemic diseases, atheroma thrombosis. The second one is the inflammatory degeneration of myocardium, and the next one is infiltration of myocardium, that is, and in case of myocardiopathies or cardiomyopathies. The second group of diseases are valvular diseases. That is, in valvular diseases, there is increased workload. In cardiac arrhythmias, that is defective pumping due to defect in the sending of the impulses from one node to other node. That happens in cardiac arrhythmias. It gives rise to defective pumping. And third one is chronic lung diseases, that is pulmonary hypertension. And lastly, systemic hypertension. So the first one was the ischemic heart diseases or its conditions. It happens due to thrombosis or embolism. Then in that case, the second criteria is inflammation or toxic degeneration. Next slide. So due to this first one, that is ischemic heart diseases, the second one is valvular heart diseases. There is this both condition causes loss of myocardial efficiency, either ischemia or the second one is valvular condition, that is mechanical defects of the heart. This both condition causes loss of myocardial efficacy, which gives rise to initiation of compensatory mechanism. What is compensatory mechanism? It is related with hypertrophy and dilatation. Dilatation and hypertrophy, these are the compensatory mechanism by which heart tries to correct the blood supply or heart tries to correct the output. So there is, whenever this both condition occurs, there is initiation of compensatory mechanisms. The next one is failure. Due to this, the heart could not combat with this compensatory mechanism. There is failure of compensatory mechanism, and further there is loss of myocardial efficiency, which gives rise to heart failure. So these are the basic things which occurs in the which are related with the heart failure. Now we will discuss about acute and chronic heart failure. Acute and chronic. There are two conditions of heart failure. The acute and chronic. Acute one is sudden, which develops within hours or within few days, and chronic it is related to evolution of this heart failure within weeks or within months. Now, the causes or the causal diseases of acute heart failure is acute coronary arterial occlusion, that is due to thrombosis or embolism, which gives rise to infarction or arrhythmias. Second condition is pulmonary embolism. Third condition is severe malignant hypertension, then acute toxic myocarditis and acute wall rupture. These are the acute conditions which gives rise to heart failure. Chronic conditions are ischemic heart diseases, hypertension, chronic valvular diseases, chronic lung diseases, and chronic severe anemia. Now, effects of this acute heart failure is sudden death, and this chronic heart failure, it gives rise to chances for the compensatory mechanism. It gets fully developed, that is hypertrophy and dilatation. There is chronic edema and chronic venous congestion of liver, lungs, or spleen. Now, the heart failure is based on two theories, backward failure and forward failure. What is backward failure? That is related with back pressure. Whenever back pressure increases in the pulmonary and systemic veins, due to this, there is increased venous pressure, which leads to rise of pressure in the capillaries, that is pulmonary capillaries. Back pressure means behind of the heart. Okay. So pulmonary and systemic veins, when back pressure increases in pulmonary and systemic veins, whenever this what is the reason of this increase in the back pressure? It is maybe it is due to some mechanical defects of heart like valvular diseases. In case of mitral stenosis, dear students, in case of mitral stenosis, what will going to happen? There is stagnation of blood in the left atrium, and this pressure will back created in the pulmonary circulation, that is pulmonary veins. So in pulmonary veins and systemic veins, this back pressure increases. Due to this, there is increased venous pressure, which leads to rise in the pressure of capillaries, that is pulmonary capillaries. Because of this, fluid get accumulates in the extracellular compartments. This causes pulmonary edema. Now, forward failure. What is forward failure? It is whenever it is related with the picture of CCF, that is chronic congestive heart failure. It is associated with edema, but this edema is not due to back pressure on venous side, but it is due to decreased cardiac output and diminished output of blood in the tissues. So edema occurs in the for backward failure, it is pulmonary edema, and here in case of forward failure, it is due to decreased cardiac output and diminished output in the blood in the tissues. It affects particularly at the level of kidney, and the edema is due to retention of sodium and enough water. Thus, increased venous pressure here is the effect and not cause of the edema. Now, left heart failure. Causes of left heart failure are systemic hypertension, aortic stenosis or incompetence, mitral incompetence. What is incompetence, my dear students? What is stenosis? Stenosis is, what is stenosis? It is narrowing of the valvular aperture, and incompetence is defective closure of any one of the leaflet of the valves. So incompetence and incompetence or stenosis may be the condition behind left heart failure. Then myocardial ischemia with infarction, coarctation of aorta. Just we discussed about this coarctation of aorta, that is congenital condition in which the aorta get constricted. So that condition is called as coarctation of aorta. Again, you can go through that particular PPT to find out the coarctation of aorta. Now, all of you know what is edema. Okay. So why I taught this topic? Because I want to start this CVS, and this all terminologies, they are related with various conditions related to heart. So coarctation of aorta may be the condition, and this left heart failure, it is always a part of CCA, that is congestive cardiac failure. Now, pathophysiology of left heart failure. So what happens in pathophysiology of left heart failure? There is, first of all, there is, whenever there is left heart failure, what is pathophysiology? There is congestion of pulmonary veins and capillaries. See here, congestion of pulmonary veins and capillary, it gives rise to increase in the pulmonary arterial pressure. It is partly due to congestion and partly due to reflex nerve action. And this congestion of pulmonary vein, just I told you that it is due to overfilling of left atrium. And what may be the reason? It may be due to some valvular problems. This left heart failure gives rise to low output, cardiac output. It gives rise to anoxia in the systemic circulation, less oxygenation in the systemic circulation. Then the demand for oxygen increases. Okay, so what will going to happen? As there is less oxygen, because the filling of left atrium is defective, so there is anoxia in the systemic circulation due to low cardiac output. Demand for oxygen increases and it will give rise to dyspnea. It is the main symptom related with the left heart failure. And this dyspnea, it may be due to pulmonary edema and increased oxygen demand. So these two factors are important for this dyspnea. Okay. So left heart failure then later on gives rise to right heart failure. Okay, due to this back pressure increases in the pulmonary circulation, there is overfilling of right atrium. There is overfilling of right atrium, systemic veins and capillaries. There is chronic venous congestion and edema. It gives rise to superior vena cava pressure, back pressure, and the pressure in the inferior vena cava due to failure of right ventricle. So this back pressure will give rise to chronic venous congestion of liver, lung, and there is increased circulation or increased back pressure in the upper part of the body, that is carotid veins. There is congestion in the carotid veins. So this is pathophysiology of left heart failure. So the next is acute pulmonary edema. Now, in acute left heart failure, what will going to happen? There is the fluid, there is accumulation of fluid results, or congestion of the fluid results in the dyspnea and hypoxia. This happens due to decrease in the left ventricular output. Left ventricular output will get decreases due to acute, that is pressure, accumulation of fluid in the pulmonary circulation will give rise to decrease in left ventricular output. Increase in pulmonary venous pressure, that is back pressure increases. This will give rise to increased fluid in the alveolar walls, increases fluid in the alveolar spaces, and there is impaired gas exchange. So this all gives rise to this dyspnea and congestion in the lung. Chronic venous congestion of lung. It gives rise to chronic venous congestion of lung. This is due to CCF, that is chronic congestive cardiac failure, that is both sides get fails, that is right and left heart failure. We call it as congestive cardiac failure. Then chronic left ventricular failure of lungs. Here the lungs, they become congested and they become brown in color. Now chronic venous congestion of lungs in the left heart failure. So this is the picture of chronic venous congestion, that is alveolar picture of this chronic venous congestion of the lung. So we just discussed that is cardiac failure. It gives rise to pulmonary venous engorgement. It gives rise to pulmonary edema. Then because of accumulation of fluid in the alveolar spaces and increased pressure in the capillaries, there is alveolar hemorrhages. There is breakdown of hemoglobin to hemosiderin and bilirubin. Now here, what are the changes? Histological changes. That is phagocytic cells they are seen, that is this monocytes, they engulf the RBCs, defective RBCs, and these cells we call it as heart failure cells. So there is full of brown pigment which migrates into the interstitial tissues and to the local lymph nodes. This accumulates for the firm, tough consistency and brown color of the this is alveoli. Okay, pure supplied that is poorly supplied the walls of alveoli and ensures that is congested alveolar capillaries because of back pressure increases in the capillaries which get break open and gives rise to brown pigment accumulated in the alveolar space. So this is the picture of chronic venous congestion of the left heart failure. Now right heart failure. So here, right heart failure, there are two things associated with right heart failure. Chronic cardiac failure is one of the reason, and second reason is lung disease, that is pure right heart failure. We call it as cor pulmonale. So what are the diseases, lung diseases which gives rise to right heart failure? That is chronic bronchitis, emphysema, then pneumoconiosis, pneumonia, fibrous fibrotic lesions which appears in the tuberculosis of lung. These are the lung diseases which gives rise to uh, increased pulmonary vascular resistance and furthermore gives rise to right ventricular failure. So there is systemic venous congestion in the right ventricular failure. There is systemic venous congestion in the right ventricular failure. Okay, so there is dilatation of neck veins due to failure of right side of the heart. There is dilatation of neck veins upper part, and lower it gives rise to this systemic venous congestion, that is splenic congestion, hepatic congestion, renal congestion. Okay, then chronic cardiac failure, it reduce left ventricular output plus mitral valve incompetence, that is the reason of left heart failure which gives rise to right heart failure later on, that is pulmonary venous congestion, and then there is right heart failure, right ventricular failure. Okay, maybe the reason of tricuspid valve incompetence which gives rise to systemic venous congestion. This is the pathophysiology of right heart failure. Now next is, this is the picture of chronic venous congestion of liver. So chronic venous congestion of the liver, it is again due to back pressure on the hepatic venous circulation, that is back pressure from the inferior vena cava will give rise to congestion of the liver. So this is the picture of chronic venous congestion of the liver. Now fluid retention in the right heart failure. There is reduced left ventricular output which gives rise to reduced kidney perfusion, fall in glomerular filtration which gives rise to retention of sodium and water. Now this again gives rise to stimulation of renin-angiotensin mechanism. By this way, adrenal cortex gets stimulated and there is aldosterone secretion, again gives rise to retention of sodium and water. So there is continuous edema, for which there are two mechanisms in the heart failure: overfilling of the venule and retention of water and electrolytes. Okay, so this overfilling of venules gives rise to increased hydrostatic pressure, and retention of water and electrolytes gives rise to increased total body fluid, which gives rise to edema in the dependent part where pressure is greatest. So this is happens in the right heart failure, how edema develops. Now next is congestive cardiac failure, that is whenever there is failure of both, combined effect of left and right side. The changes they are seen in the various organs such as lung, liver, kidney and spleen. In pure obstructive lesions such as aortic stenosis, the chamber proximal to obstruction will undergo work hypertrophy and the muscle fiber become larger. In course of time, the dilatation is added to hypertrophy, and this may be the compensatory or may be due to failure. So failure after dilatation is the end result of every cardiac lesion. So first of all, there is hypertrophy and there is dilatation. Okay, so this is the end result of every cardiac lesion, that is congestive cardiac failure. At beginning, there is hypertrophy, tries to meet the increased workload of the heart, but as the time comes when the effect fails, heart could not combat with the output of the heart, the muscle fails and the cavity get dilates. So first of all, there is hypertrophy, work hypertrophy. We call it as work hypertrophy. Heart used to work more Due to this more work, there is hypertrophy of muscles, heart muscles. And whenever this could not, the heart circulation and heart's output could not get recovered, then there is dilatation. So this is the picture of dilatation. What is the normal? This is the normal picture. End of diastole, mid systole, and end systole. This is the normal picture. Now what happens in the dilatation? This see this cavity get dilates. There is great increase in the expulsion force. So heart needed to work more, and this get dilates, and there is hypertrophy. So this is the picture of hypertrophy. Okay, mostly seen in the pulmonary hypertension due to chronic lung diseases. Here. Now this is the normal course. This is the normal. This is the normal picture of heart, and this is the abnormal. That is left ventricular hypertrophy and right ventricular hypertrophy. In left ventricular hypertrophy, there is pulmonary hypertension to chronic lung diseases, and also in the mitral valve disease. See, this mitral valve is defective here, which causes pulmonary hypertension, which increases the back pressure. And there is hypertrophy because of workload of heart, it rises. And left ventricular hypertrophy, here again aortic valve stenosis, it gives rise to work hypertrophy, commonly seen in the systemic hypertension. It is commonly seen in the systemic hypertension. So this is all about of heart failure, my dear students. Hope you could understood this topic. You can ask me if there are any queries. You can ask me anytime. And please go through these two topics, that is about congenital heart diseases and also with this heart failure. The next topic tomorrow we are going to discuss is about endocardial heart diseases. The first endocardial heart disease we are going to cover is rheumatic fever. So if there are books with you, please go through this topic and revise this topic of heart failure.